Winter fragrances, I would give a perfect 10 out of 10. It's that time of year to discuss the best winter fragrances on the market. And usually when I give a fragrance a 10 out of 10, I have a criteria, guys. It has to have a top end scent blend. The ingredients have to smell luxurious, the performance has to be at least 8 hours, and the wearability has to be at least 3 out of 4 seasons. And then finally, the fragrance has to feel like it's worth its price. Now in this video, I'm going to cheat a little bit because it's very much tailored to winter fragrances only. We're going to take out that wearability criteria. So it doesn't matter, as long as it's a winter fragrance, it's going to get full marks in wearability. So this kind of opens a whole can of worms and allows several different fragrances I wouldn't usually give a 10 out of 10. I'll give them a 10 in this video, so they are perfect as winter fragrances themselves. Hopefully you guys enjoy this video. Let's begin. Hey guys, if you haven't already, make sure to check out our own brand, Atrium Fragrance. The brand vision is to have us men explore new ideas together to help push the industry forward. I'd rather you guys check out our samples first instead of going straight for full bottles, because I don't want you guys to be customers. I want you to be fanatics and really love the stuff you are buying before you go ahead and commit to them. The link to Atrium Fragrance is in the description below. Make sure to share your thoughts. Thanks. Number 1 is Prada L'Homme Intense. So this is discontinued, but hopefully you guys can still get this in your region, depending on where you are. This is honestly probably the best evening iris fragrance in my opinion. Dark, leathery, tonka bean, powdery iris. Elegance, but at the same time balance as well. Super dark, super powdery. This is an unapologetically iris-based fragrance that still smells masculine. This was a masterpiece. I was really sad that they discontinued this. It has excellent performance as well, around 10 hours longevity with a medium projection. This really takes the original Prada L'Homme, that powdery, elegant iris, and just gives it a little more character. I infinitely prefer this over the original personally. This is a little more my style. This has so much character. I'm gonna miss it, but hey, at least I have this bottle here to use. I used to own a bottle, so this is a fragrance that's a little bit impractical, but it's perfect for the winter time if you want something that's beast mode, and that is Nassomatto's Black Afghano. This is a very interesting, definitely Middle Eastern, smoky, cannabis, sweet, ambery fragrance. So if you think of cannabis, smokiness, a lot of sweetness, a little sweet amber in here, with a lot of intensity. I'm talking about 24 hours longevity. This is the kind of fragrance that, you know, I love. I think the scent profile is beautiful, but it's so tricky to wear just because you have to commit for 24 hours. So if you're going on some crazy party binge on the weekend, maybe you can. You spray 2 sprays and you're good to go. Like 30 ml, you pay for a 30 ml and that's fine, guys. Like honestly, you'll never get through it. It's such a strong fragrance. I was going like maybe 2 half sprays. So 1 whole spray was lasting me 24 hours. It's intense. Xerjoff Naxos. I've talked about this fragrance many times on the channel. It's one of the best tobacco fragrances ever made. Elegant, amber, tobacco, honey, and lavender. Elegant, beautiful, balanced fragrance. If you want a classy special occasion fragrance that really highlights how you can use tobacco creatively, it is a legendary fragrance. It's probably the easiest fragrance to go and buy to get into the brand of Xerjoff. It smells expensive. It definitely stands out to the rest of the market you'll smell, but it's still very accessible and easy to understand. So that's a beautiful balance that they got here. Really a legendary fragrance for a reason. 10 hours longevity and medium projection. 32% of people who watch School of Scent are subscribed to us. If you guys want to see our channel grow, to really help us out, click subscribe. Let's get that number to 40%. Thank you. And I'll mention it now, I've only had a sample of this, but Initio's Paragon. Even outside of winter, I think this is a 10 out of 10 fragrance. I think it works in most of the year round apart from the summertime. I would say that fragrance smells like the plum of Plum Japonais mixed with the DNA of Naxos. They kind of came together and had a baby. Initio, the brand, gets a lot of hype from the community. I've always kind of thought they were okay. I didn't get too attached to a lot of their fragrances, but Paragon shocked me because I was trying it out because we were obviously releasing Mr. Majestic. I was trying out plum fragrances on the market, and Paragon might be one of the best. Really classy day and night fragrance to wear as like a really sexy, expensive smelling signature with that unique plum note in there. Beautiful, balanced, but at the same time sweet and sensual and addictive. A really, really beautiful niche fragrance. It really stands that title of being niche and having that price tag in my opinion. 10 hours with a soft to medium projection. Dior Homme Parfum. What can I say about this fragrance? Again, it's one of those fragrances that is never discontinued, but it's also never easy to find. It's weird. You kind of just have to look out for it and pounce on the opportunity. I wore this fragrance yesterday, 2 sprays. I put it on in the early afternoon, and then the next day in the morning, I could still smell this. That just shows you how much of a beast this fragrance is. It is not an easy iris fragrance. It's a powdery iris, kind of lipsticky fragrance, which would sound like it's feminine, but no, this is an extremely masculine fragrance. Dark, leathery, serious iris with a bit of smokiness to it as well. And it smells like a niche fragrance actually, even though it's designed, it smells niche in its quality and its longevity. Although it smells expensive, it does stay linear as well. So it's sort of, you know, what you get at the beginning is what you're going to stay with for a very, very long time. It's a mature fragrance, it's a masculine fragrance, it's intense, it's dark, definitely a cold weather fragrance through and through. And I would say this suits a mature, intense, hyper-masculine individual, someone who wears something like Antaeus, Kouros, maybe Oud for Greatness, that kind of vibe. Mancera's Tonka Cola. Cherry, boozy Coca-Cola with a woody patchouli and tonka vibe in here. Tonka amped up. This fragrance didn't always get a 10 out of 10 for me because I thought before that it smelled too synthetic to get that high-end points for the blend. But I kind of feel like it's part of the charm of the fragrance. It's sort of like how I really like Baccarat Rouge 540, but that's obviously an ambroxan-based scent, and ambroxan is a synthetic lab molecule. But I do feel like this deserves credit. I think this is a really interesting, creative, balanced signature that smells a little bit gourmand, a little bit fresh, masculine, woody, whilst being long-lasting, around 12 hours with a medium projection. But it's just a super interesting concept that no one else has approached, and I respect that. The creativity is up there in this fragrance. Who else would give you a balanced, fresh Coca-Cola fragrance? I think the name does it justice. I think it's done it really well. It's unique, but at the same time, super attractive. A solid release from Mancera. Jean Paul Gaultier's Le Male Le Parfum. This might be the current best release in the brand right now in Jean Paul Gaultier. Usually their stuff is quite simple and youthful, let's say a little bit juvenile, one might say, but this is mature. They amped up the modernity of Le Male. They made it a more relevant smelling DNA. They made it a bit more romantic, a bit more complex. They have interesting notes in here, like iris, some animalic notes I detect definitely, even though they might not be listed. So it's slightly animalic, but a beautiful, mature, intense, romantic DNA that's got lavender. I think it still has cinnamon in here. It has vanilla. It's a beautiful, sweet, inviting fragrance with elegance, complexity, a lot of interest in here. I think this is a really masterful, artistic fragrance, especially in the mid-range designer realm. So it's really impressive. 10 hours longevity with a medium projection. Aron Terenceau's Tabac. This is easily one of Aron's best fragrances, and I definitely recommend you get it. When I recommend it to you guys, it seems to always be sold out, and I can see why. This, to me, is the niche version of Tobacco Vanille. Even though Tobacco Vanille could be seen as a niche fragrance, I think this kind of takes it and makes it a bit more realistic. This smells like Aron's used a very, very high quality tobacco in here. It literally smells like a realistic tobacco pipe. This is photorealistic, guys. And it does have some vanilla, some woodiness in there. I think it has oud in here. Aron just loves to throw oud in there. Why not? He's a great guy. He really treats us nicely. He spoils us. So this is a very photorealistic, masculine, mature tobacco pipe. Super, super impressive and super creative and interesting how he got this so accurate. And it lasts a really long time, like 20 hours, I think I remember. It's a super intense fragrance with a soft to medium projection. If you want a really artistic fragrance, especially for you masculine mature folk, Tabac is my recommendation. Parfum de Marly's Carlisle. Maybe my favorite from the Parfum de Marly brand, potentially. It's dark, intense, mature. It has a beautiful spiciness in here with the nutmeg initially, and it makes you think it's gonna go one direction and it dries down into a very different, slightly floral, masculine, vanilla dry down, with a lot of patchouli, of course, to keep it dark. This is a dark, dark fragrance. The bottle is apt for this release. It smells extremely expensive. It's one of the higher priced fragrances compared to all the other stuff. I think it's still a higher price tag. And I can see why. It smells more expensive. This is more challenging, but it's more expensive smelling. It's kind of like if Layton, people who like Layton, they kind of want to stand out and grow up more. They want a more mature Layton. This is it. It's not as versatile as Layton, but this is the more impressive fragrance in my opinion. 14 hours longevity with a medium projection. Speaking of Layton, here's Parfum de Marly's Layton Exclusive. So if you want to go in a different direction from Layton, you want to be a bit more mature, a bit more regal, then this is it for you. While Carlisle, I feel it can be your signature in the cold weather, this is more like your special occasion scent. This is something really special. Layton, apple pie, vanilla florals, mixed with coffee and oud. It's a really interesting, spicy gourmand that has oud in here as well. Very, very creative, beautiful, beautiful stuff from the brand. It smells like something you literally have to whip out only when it's really the big guns and you want to show off. But again, challenging, but I still think one of the best fragrances in the brand. So also check this out. 14 hours longevity, soft to medium projection, something like that. Alexandria Fragrances Hafez 1984. This is Mancera Red Tobacco if it had calmed down a little bit. This has similarities to Red Tobacco in the opening, then it does its own thing. A really sexy, big compliment getting, big, loud projecting head turner fragrance that has an interesting Middle Eastern combination of spices, boozy notes, vanilla, and an ashy, smoky tobacco. Really beautiful stuff that's really unique and interesting, and it smells a lot more expensive than its price tag. Maybe one of the most affordable fragrances on this list. I'll always give this a 10 out of 10 regardless, whether it's in this list or other lists. Always one of my top recommendations. So if you want compliments, you want a unique, interesting head turner, get Hafez 1984, probably for guys in their mid-20s and up, I'd say. 12 hours longevity with a medium to loud projection. And I wouldn't mind getting a bottle of this actually in the upcoming future. Amouage Interlude Black Iris. Beautiful, evening orris roots, very expensive ingredients. Real oud, very expensive ingredient. Ambery, smoky fragrance. Beautiful, smoothed out, powdery. Really interesting take on the Amouage Interlude DNA. Very dark, very intense, very complex. One of those really beautiful, interesting fragrances you'll never get bored of. I got 12 hours longevity with a medium to loud projection. That concludes this list, guys. What are your thoughts? Do you agree or disagree with my 10 out of 10 choices for the winter time? Are there any from today's video that you're intrigued and interested in trying out? Let me know, guys. Share your winter 10 out of 10 fragrance in the comments down below. Make sure to check out our previous video from last year where I give winter fragrances a perfect 10 out of 10. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.